So I'm gonna get this out of the way. Had a bunch of epiphanies, downloads, however you want to think of it, revelations, if you will, because the more in tune you are with things, the more it will sing to you. And this cuts, both ways. It's good and bad. That touches on something else. So I haven't been as inspired to spoon feed the masses things having to do with chakras for quite a while. It's one of these things. It's something I put behind me for the most part. But I've gleaned some things in recent days. I'm not going to teach you guys that shit in this video, so feel free to fuck off. Instead, because that'll probably sour everybody out there, I was thinking about my personality, and I was thinking about things that people have told me, and just things that were said in general. I usually see myself as pretty easygoing, and before I started challenging people and asking them to have standards and think for themselves and, priorities, a list of priorities that reflect reality, and they might want to think in terms of, let alone work towards, most people found me pretty agreeable and all around likable. A lot of you guys out there who have heard me bark at the internet probably assume otherwise. Most do these days because they've been spoon-fed polarizing positive vibes only. Absolute horseshit. And it's divisive. So, what I was thinking about was movies. Today I was wearing a shirt that has to do with Italian horror movies. And somebody asked me about it because she doesn't watch enough Italian horror movies, in her opinion. So we got to talk about that. And then she recommended a movie that just came out, and I thought it was absolute dog shit. But the storyline was truer to the original, to the actual comics and what have you. I'm referring to the Hellboy Crooked Man jazz that was just shit out. I mean, it looks like something you would have seen on TV at in the early 2000s. It's pretty bad, in my opinion. Granted, that's just the aesthetics. That's just the superficial visuals of it all, including the makeup. And when you compare it to, what's his name? I want to call it Del Toro, but I don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't think that's it. Either way, the one with Ron Perlman in it, those I enjoyed. It did, but they were also over-the-top Hollywood projects. So my point to this is, I am a stickler for storytelling in movies, and most movies people will digest the latest content, and assume it was just so good, I think was shit. So I am disagreeable in that regard, and I always have been. Same applies to music and books and what have you. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't enjoy shit like Step Brothers. I like that movie. It's dumb as fuck. It's brain candy for, Muppets for the most part. But I can enjoy it. Now, with that being said, I haven't seen it in a while. Haven't scrutinized it since I pulled my head out of my ass. What I'm getting at is, I'm thinking of Disney Pool's, Disney Pool and Wolverine. That is divisive dog shit. It's full of plot holes, meaning that it doesn't make any sense. And it just promotes one social engineering agenda after another if you're paying attention. In other words, it should insult you more than it would entertain you, which means you wouldn't praise it, you wouldn't support it, you wouldn't talk about it, in a favorable manner whatsoever. And yet that movie sold a lot of tickets and it has a lot of traction, and people will argue that it was so good. So fucking good. To parallel, let's fucking go. A line that numerous characters say, independent of, fill in the fucking blanks. They don't know each other. They didn't know that was the line that they were supposed to repeat, but it was in the script and different people fucking said it. Because one person most likely wrote it. And or a team of fucking idiots wrote it and they thought that was a good idea. Because that's the marketing slogan. That's our log line. It should insult people. It's a horrible movie. And then that also comes down to the cosplay outfits, the bad acting, the pigeonholed cameos, and the list goes on. But most people didn't see any of that. Most people didn't care about any of that. Now, if you start paralleling what I'm complaining about in terms of my taste in movies, having standards, priorities, demanding a quality storytelling means that we're going to get more quality storytelling. If you support projects like that, that's why we had a shit ton of Transformer movies. That's why we got a bunch of Fast and the fucking Furious movies. Dog shit. Horrible fucking dog shit. Now we get standalone cash grabs because of things along those lines. Rogue One is the one that always comes to mind, which created plot holes for Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, which was and is Star Wars. But now the Rebel plans have been explained, which isn't a plot hole, but the fact that Vader is chasing the other ship and all that other garbage at the very, very end makes no fucking sense. Because it was supposed to be an element of surprise in the original, as far as I'm aware. Surprise motherfucker, Vader's here. Not, oh yeah, I forgot, he was chasing us and some things happened before that contradict what originally occurred. Hence, a plot hole. But people don't care about that. They praise Rogue One. It was so good. It was full of pointless characters you knew were going to die. It was a cash grab. It doesn't mean anything. And by all rights, it shouldn't exist, based on what I've complained about. And that's just a little bit of it. Oh, but the robot was so funny. That's how it works. Now we have Andor, Indoor, whatever the fuck it's called. I think it's Andor, because Indoor is where the bargain bin Wookiees live. The little meth bears that should have died of, this is me geeking out right now, a nuclear winter. But that didn't happen either. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking about. And most people probably don't care. But I was also kicking around, teaching the masses about fucking chakras, among other things. And that bleeds into a lot of stuff that no one is talking about. No one apparently understands because it's something you're not supposed to know. What do I usually say? I can teach you guys things you're not supposed to know. Your friends, your loved ones, you fill in the blank. Things you're going to read in books. Shit you're going to see on TikTok. Things you're going to find on the internet. People don't know these things. What I can teach you is important. You could think of it as divine knowledge, sacred wisdom, and all the other dumb shit. Dumb shit people, wax poetic about. But it is fucking neat. It's very, very neat. And you can apply it to reality again and again and again because these are tools. These are the mechanics to how shit works. And I can't believe I figured it out. Keep in mind, or take to heart, I got some of it wrong, sure as shit. But what I'm sitting on, it would just melt your fucking brain. I also mentioned wisdom, just because I'm full of disclaimer statements. Don't fool yourself. You and I, in this person suit, we are always seeking out knowledge. We will build a knowledge base. We will never have the whole, the totality of fucking knowledge, which means wisdom is unattainable in this bipedal sack of meat that carries our light. And most people haven't figured that out. That's why you hear people talking about wisdom. There's a reason why that 11th Sephiroth on the fucking Tree of Life is absent in the corrupted, fall of man model, which is not symmetrical. If any of you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the DAF. The DAATH, and there's an apostrophe in there. And it's got other spellings because with Hebrew, Yiddish, this, that, and the other thing, phonetics, that's what they stress. And yet, words do have power. So these different spellings are producing different results. It's another thing people aren't invested in whatsoever. Because you've been told words don't have power. You've been told everything's fuck all. Just bullshit. And most superficial people are aligned with that train of thought. The umbrella paradigm of dumb fucking shit. And again, that's why we have Transformer movies, Fast and the Furious, and the list goes on. What the fuck do I know? If you sat through this, thanks for hanging out.